Welcome to another edition of The New Normal. I am pleased to be joined today by Renee Earls, the CEO of the Odessa Chamber of Commerce. Renee, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to come and sit down and talk with us for a few minutes.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for asking me.
So, Renee, we are quite a ways into, I guess you could say, the new normal. How would you grade Odessa's response to the COVID-19 pandemic, dating back to late May, when we first kind of got word that wasn't going to be a flash in the pan kind of thing? This was going to be something we'd have to deal with.
Well, I have to say, shortly after COVID hit, the economy also tanked. So we have been hit with a double whammy, if you will, more so than other communities. I think Odessa is very resilient. I think I hear a lot of people say we, as West Texans, have a lot of grit. And I think that certainly shows in situations like this. Oftentimes we see these as opportunities. This is not going to be a normal year. And we're 6 months into 2020, and we've had so many tragic situations already. But I think people have really, said, hey, we've got to ride this out, do our best. We see businesses that have been really innovative in trying to serve their customers. We've seen businesses, maybe restaurants that were dine-in restaurants that have gone out and now they have a drive-through window just to accommodate customers. So I think it's made us all work differently, think differently, and just, try to accommodate our customers. And that's what we do best here in West Texas.
Exactly. You mentioned some of the procedures that some of the businesses are putting into place individually. How much direction does the Chamber of Commerce give to local businesses in terms of either suggestions or recommendations of either social distancing protocols or ways that they can stay within, obviously, the FDA guidelines or the orders from the governor of Texas in order to stay open?
We have tried to be a great resource for our members and also those businesses who may not be members yet. This is an opportunity where every Chamber of Commerce throughout the country really stepped up. Many companies don't have a marketing person. Many companies don't have an HR company or an HR person to specifically focus on those issues. So as a chamber, we took it upon ourselves to make sure we would gather all of the resources that every business would need. We have a great website that has a lot of resources for different businesses, either those who may be looking for loan opportunities, those who are trying to just stay up to date. Things change quite a bit. The CDC guidelines change regularly. So the Chamber has really tried to be the resource for all businesses in Odessa. I always say that we do really 3 things well. We connect people, we collaborate with people, and we advocate for business. So we have done that since the very beginning of all this started in March. Try to be here to answer questions and guide businesses through this. And it's been a great opportunity for us. And along the way, we've had to work a bit differently as well. Just like we're doing this interview, a Zoom interview, oftentimes we would have met person to person. So, we just have to figure it out.
Exactly, because I haven't been down to the chamber office yet, and that's still on one of my bucket list things to do. I need to come down and see your wonderful offices.
We are open for business now, so
awesome.
Come on.
Yes, I'll have to come on down. Maybe I'll bring Rick Matchett, our president, with us.
Absolutely.
As well. So one of the things you mentioned and you touched on briefly is kind of the outreach that the chamber has done. One of the things that I noticed is the hashtag restaurant showcase that the chamber has been doing on social media. How has that initiative impacted local restaurants during this new normal?
So many restaurants obviously had to close down. They had to close in their dining room area. Some of them just could not afford to offer takeout only. They had to close for a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. So we really felt it was important. We started initially with the program of, the takeout, where you could go to get takeout. We contacted all of our restaurant members just to find out what their hours were. Were they offering a limited menu? So once the governor said we can open back up, then we contacted the restaurants and updated the information, and that's where the restaurant showcase came from. We also had partnered with Ector County Independent School District because about 3 to 4 weeks ago, they encouraged all of their employees to really go out into the community and eat locally. Their theory was throughout this school year, so many restaurants support ECISD. So they wanted one day for their employees to go support the restaurants. So we teamed up with ECISD so that restaurant showcase could really just remind people who was open, what they were offering, what their hours were, and it was a win-win for everyone.
I'm so happy that had such a positive impact. And obviously, I don't need to make mention, but so many great family-owned local restaurants here in Odessa. It's good to see that they're doing a little bit better than they otherwise would have been, thanks in part to your efforts. Renee, how important is it, do you think, to have community unity? There's a hashtag for it if you want to use it, in helping everyone adjust to the new normal and having the business leadership of this community kind of lead the way in that front?
I had to write down that hashtag community unity so I can use that later on.
There you go.
I think we're all better together. We must, partner with each other, collaborate with each other, just to lift each other up. We are working with the Midland Chamber on a buy local program, and you'll be hearing a lot more about that very, very soon. We kind of dusted something off that we did about 30 years ago, and it really is all focusing on supporting each other and staying local, and what that does and how that you can reinvest your money locally. And it literally means, it may mean keeping your neighbor with a job. Mm-hmm. We all have to come together in this, and it's a great time. The last couple of months have allowed all of us to really reflect and spend a lot more time at home behind closed doors with our families, and really just to slow down and realize what is important. And, I'm born and raised in this community, so I can talk all day long on what this community offers. But if nothing else, we are a great community that does pull together, unite, if you will, support each other. And we need that now more than ever, not only because of COVID, but also because of the economic downturn.
And can you speak a little bit about the buy local program that you just mentioned? I just looked briefly at my notes there that you mentioned with your partnership with the Midland Chamber. I don't want you to give anything away, of course, but can you speak a little bit more about that?
We are going to be officially kicking this off very soon, but it will be a very easy program, an awareness program, if you will, that we will want every business. We certainly will want the Jackalopes to get behind this. You all are a perfect example of what so many of us have missed in the last couple of months is sports. And we have some wonderful opportunities and venues in this area to just go in and enjoy locally. Oftentimes, our own residents are our own worst enemy because we think, oh, there's nothing to do here. Well, there's plenty to do here. This is a great time to go out and enjoy it and reinvest our time and our money in things that are local.
Awesome. Just give us a little preview. So we tune in. I'm really appreciative that you made mention of us. I mean, we're all really excited here about the hiring of Jason Fortier as our new head coach, and our entire organization from pretty much top to bottom moving forward in a new exciting direction. And yeah, I agree with you. When I first came here, I was kind of scratched my head like, okay, besides the hockey team, what is there to do in Odessa? But I was remarkably surprised to find there's so much fun stuff to do in Odessa, Midland, and the Permian Basin. So I think that's a great initiative that the Odessa Chamber and the Midland Chamber of Commerce kind of coming together to kind of highlight what folks can do here in the Permian Basin.
I will tell you that there is far more to do than you have time to do it. So for those people out there who say there's just nothing to do, let me spend about 5 minutes with them. And there's so many opportunities here. And I think that's just, you need to love where you live. And we have a lot of things out there to offer that just takes a little bit of digging and, great opportunities out there.
On switching things back more to the Odessa Chamber of Commerce, on the Chamber's website at the very top of the page is the Perryman Report on COVID-19 and the related oil market challenges. Can you give us kind of the Cliff Notes version of what the report indicates in regards to Odessa and Odessa businesses?
Absolutely. So that was a report that the Odessa Development Corporation had Dr. Perryman do, and the Odessa Chamber Economic Development Department is the contractor for that. So we were proud that he was able to do that for us. As he has said multiple times, what we're going through right now with the economy is not the 1980s. It's not as bad and as bleak as it was in the 1980s, because we are at a different place. Technology is so much better. We were absolutely going gangbusters up until about 3 months ago. So a couple of things that came out of that report. Obviously, the infrastructure for internet and broadband is a big issue. And that's not only in Odessa, but that's all over West Texas. So that's something that we're looking at. I know many of the communities are looking at making sure that everyone has access or connectivity to internet. The schools, they had to send all of their students home and do everything virtual. Well, some parts of, say, West Odessa, they have no capability of doing that. Right. So you can give them a laptop or you can give them a computer, but if they can't get connected, then that's worthless. So that's one thing we're looking at, the infrastructure for broadband and that type. And the other thing is, we are in the heart of the energy business here in Permian Basin. This part of Texas contributes more than any other parts of the state. And so all of Texas and all of the nation and virtually the world is dependent on what we have below the ground here in the Permian Basin. And we have to tell our story on that. So we have put together a task force that is coming up with some ideas to not only remind our own community that, we're in this for the long haul and it is different, but also remind our state and federal leaders of how important Odessa and the Permian Basin is to the economy. And we're putting together some great messages that will certainly make an impact.
Well, I'm sure, and I'm very hopeful, but I'm sure those messages will also have the impact that you folks are hoping that they will. How much, if at all, did the Perryman Report direct the Chamber's thinking in terms of COVID-19 responses for the near and the long term and responses going into the future?
With COVID, we have seen some stability, but in the last couple of days or about a week, we've seen a rise in cases. So in fact, just today, I was on a Zoom call with some leaders in the media industry and the city of Odessa on getting the word out, making sure people understand that as time goes on, we cannot get lax about this. We have to be diligent in continuing to wash our hands, to be careful, wear a mask if you're out there, be cautious. We don't want a big rise to come in because, again, that shuts our economy down. So we have to remind people over and over, and we've heard it for the last couple of months, and people are kind of starting to get tired of the messages, but it's still so important to remind people that we just need to be cautious, because we do want to go to sporting events in the fall. We do want to come watch the Jackalopes play hockey in the fall. And if we don't get this situation under control and keep these numbers down, we won't be able to do that. We want all the students to be able to go back into the classroom come August. But if we're not careful, this can really spike back up. And so the message is so very important to continue to get that word out.
Tell us a little bit about the webinars that the Chamber has been doing as of late, and that I understand that you've been doing as well.
Well, as a Chamber of Commerce, we are a member of the U.S. Chambers of Commerce and also the Association of Chamber of Commerce Executives, and they have offered some wonderful information to all the businesses throughout the country, and we've allowed our members and others to be a part of that. So most of them have been free. They have covered everything from, how to open your business back up, to be diligent in the cleaning of that, and how to open up your business for customers who may be a bit cautious, to completing the loan applications, to working with your bank. We've even been able to partner with some local companies, with the Sewell family dealerships, working on leadership webinars. We've been able to do some of just how to de-stress. Staying home is really tough, and it can get very depressing. And for those people who are not able to get out, it's really tough. We've been able to work with some different companies and offer some webinars about that. So we've covered the gamut on some of these webinars, just what we can offer. Before March, I didn't know what Zoom was. And I have been on a Zoom call, sometimes 5 and 6 times a day. I didn't have a web camera, so I had to go, get one of those. I mean, we've all had to think differently, but it's also made us, somewhat more nimble and able to act on things very quickly. So again, that's some of the good things that have come out of this situation.
Renee, last question before I let you go. When we look back a year, 2 years from now, we look back at how Odessa, and specifically the business community of Odessa, handled COVID-19, handled the new normal, and handled the new scenarios that we have been presented almost like curveballs. What do you hope is the main thing that folks remember when they look back on this time a year or 2 years down the line?
Well, first of all, I hope a year or 2 years from now, we have more businesses open and thriving than we did in March of 2020, because that would mean that these businesses were able to retool and survive this. I think it's really important for all of us to remember that we can make or break a business. And, oftentimes it's so easy to get on your computer and order something from out of the area or from Amazon, or, and it used to be convenient. It would be here in 1 or 2 days. Well, we're not finding that anymore. In fact, it's taking weeks and sometimes months to get an item. I think now more than ever, rather than sit at your computer and order something online, call up a store, get online to look at their website. And it might be more convenient to drive down the street and pick something up curbside than ordering online. So I hope people get back to the basics and just realize that these are the companies that we need to support. These are the companies who are donating to the Jackalopes. They're buying season tickets. They're, helping you all survive. These are the companies that are helping the students with the school district. These are the ones who are supporting the sports teams. These are the ones who give to our local nonprofits. So now more than ever, I hope in a year or two, we have more local businesses, again, that are thriving and really doing well, because Odessans and those in the basin spent their money here locally.
Renee Earls, CEO of the Odessa Chamber of Commerce. Renee, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to come speak with us about the Chamber, about the efforts that your organization is doing to help our business community. Thank you so much for everything that you and your organization does for our community, and we hope to see you, the businesses, and the entire community here at the Jack Shack come October.
I sure hope we can get there come October. We're looking forward to it. Thanks so much for having me.
Thanks, Renee.